Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb, and you're watching Live for Love TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Like, share, subscribe. Live for Love TV. Awesome!
And subscribe. Live for Love TV.
Like, share, and subscribe. Live for Love TV. Oh.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today's the 12th day of the 6th month of the 22nd year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today we're going to discuss the emasculation of men, especially since the 21st century has started, but to the end of it as well. Now I'm talking about Western men in general, in particular, rather than men from other parts of the world, because it's clear. I don't think there's too many people who would deny that the Western man has been emasculated. Now, I'm going to even home on a little bit more and focus a little bit more on black men in Western society and how much they've been emasculated, because this is something that we can see that has become a real massive problem. And it's such a problem that the sisters are basically complaining all the time now. Now, there are people who believe that the emasculation of men, especially the black men, has come about from women, especially from the black women. And I hold against that. I'm totally against that, because Kevin Samuels used to talk about it, and he talked about the femininity and the females in general, and women's lib and all that stuff, which did play a massive part in the whole Western culture and how women have become to be seen and how men have become emasculated. It played a part. But when it comes to black men, since the end of slavery in the Western hemisphere, this is where the emasculation of black males came from. Now, there may suggest and say a lot of sisters have ridden on the coattails of that and have used it to their own benefit. That is a fair argument, but they are not the behest, and they're not the ones who started the emasculation of the black male. The black male came about through slavery and the end of it, through what they call Jim Crow, and all the other things that have happened since, with the laws, apartheid in South Africa, the laws that were to back up white supremacy. That's where the emasculation of black males started. The only thing I can agree with some of the brothers who like to talk about the sisters, especially in America and around the world, when they have this sort of manosphere argument, is that they haven't done anything to help some of the brothers. Some of them, if anything, have actually rode on the coattails of white supremacy in order to sit in the men's faces. In quotes, literally and unliterally, yeah? So that's why I'm saying that I don't actually hold to the fact that it was the sisters, but there are a lot of sisters who are to blame for the part that they've played in it since its inception. Now, ever since those times, when it started, the black males always had one of two choices. It was die, as you saw in Roots, where it was get your foot cut off or your foot toe cut off. Be what was it? Cut to pieces, hanged, beaten, bruised, whatever you want to call it. This was always the options that the black man had, or bow down and accept it. Now, some played the jester and pretended they were bowing down, but in reality they were doing their own thing and trying to get stronger. That's an argument maybe another time. But the truth is that since the days when Bob Marley came out and said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. Since those days, it's been clear that the physical threat against the black male is still there. The incarceration threat against the black male is still there. But the cost is different. You can remain a male in these times, but there's still a price to pay. There's still a sacrifice that has to be made, and your life could clearly be in danger, as it has been across the America and the Caribbean and other places, UK and whatsoever. Your life is always there, tittering on the edge, when you stay a man. And why the need for the emasculation of males, especially black males? Well, it was clear from then, to those who were wise enough, that some people in your race, if you're a black person, are just too strong for for some other people in other races. And this has caused people to be afraid of you before you've even opened your mouth, before you said anything, or before you've had any allegiances to one side or another. This is why that fear factor. Now, you and I, quick example, if we were walking through the bush and we had a gun on us, and we saw a lion walking down on the other side, the good chance we'd draw our gun before the lion's even roared. Maybe the lion hasn't even looked our way. And if he comes too close, and he still hasn't looked our way, and he still hasn't roared, he may get shot. Why? Because we're fearful. We know what he can do if he so be decides to rush us and come after us. We know what he can do, we know the damage he can cause. And we don't feel we're able to stand up to it. So that's the reason why we would take out our gun and do what we have to do. This is the sad truth about black males when it comes to other people around the world. They see you very similar to that description. Now, obviously, that's a big, massive generalization because you've got all sizes of black males, all type of black males. You've got effeminate black males, you've got all kind of black males. So all black males are not like that. But this is the way it's always been seen, and this is the way it's always come across, and this is the reason why the threat has been there, and why from a very young age, the system has decided it's going to do whatever it can to emasculate these males so that they don't become a threat or a danger. A bit like muting a dog or something like that, or taking out that little bit of the person's brain that leads to some form of what they call aggression, which is the person's normal state, but they would call it aggressive because they're fearful of it. I bring up these points because the emasculation that's been going on is going to continue, and it's going to continue. And there's only one way it can really stop. I think Stokely Carmichael probably coined it when he said black power. Basically, when you're empowered to the point where you actually stop it. Because it can't be stopped by reason. It can't be stopped by consciousness or whatsoever, books or whatever you read, or going on people's TV programs. It cannot be stopped that way. Why? Because the fear remains, and you can't take away someone else's fear. Just like if I'm walking through the forest or the jungle, and a lion comes up on me and I got my 9 on me, no one can stop me from being frightened. I can probably step myself one day if I so wish, but nobody else can stop me from being frightened. And I'll tell you one thing, the lion can't stop me from being frightened. So that's why I said it's not going to stop unless we find a way to have power so that the person can't push forward their fears onto the whole world and therefore emasculate men in general. Yeah, especially, as I say, black males. It's a very, very deep issue. It's a big issue. It's not something that, in a small YouTube video you can go into as much as that. It needs, reflection. It also needs conversation. And other people are going to have other points of view. But this is what I've seen, this is what I've lived through, and what I've been up against. So I'm speaking especially from my own experience. I'm not actually speaking as if I know it all. I'm speaking from my own experience. And as I've been up against it, I've seen a lot of the people that I know, that I've come across, that I've grown with, become emasculated by the very system that we all grew up in. And that sometimes because they didn't want to get into trouble. They just wanted to go along to get along. And that's what happens. You go along to get along to the point where you become emasculated. And then you have a problem maybe with your wife, your sister, your girlfriend, whatever. And people start to abuse this person, or even if not they abuse them, they start to come up against them. And in Jamaica they have a thing saying Joe Grind. All of a sudden Joe Grind is at your house when you're at work. Usually that happens because you've been emasculated. That's what normally happens. You be emasculated, and she's searching for that masculine energy where you no longer have. Now I'm not justifying old Joe because Joe's not a good person, but it highlights something that what I'm talking about and why these things happen. You need to keep your manhood unto death. It's imperative. There is no price, as I've said before in other videos, that should be given for your manhood, for your masculinity. That's what you were born. When somebody sees you, like if I have a child, the boy says he's a boy, I mean he's a masculine. I want him to be a masculine until the day he dies. And if that happens to be short rather than long, which nobody wants that for their child, but so be it. But what's the point of having the child living to 60 and 70 who's not even masculine? What man could be happy with that if he's a man himself? No man would be happy with that. So such is life. So I'm just reflecting on these things as we go through this time, 2022, and we watch men emasculated, walking up onto stages and slapping other emasculated men. Two emasculated figures there, and people trying to take one side or another. I don't take either side. I don't see any masculine in the room. Masculine men make their point in the way they want to make their point. They don't make it to impress you. When you're a masculine man, you don't have to do things to impress other people, whether it's females or males, white or black. That's not what men do. You do what's right because you know it's right. Take care. See you soon. Live for Love TV.
This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am. One step more. One step more. One step more. Until you reach your goals. One step more. Save them soul. One step more. One step more. How good it is to reach the Live for Love TV. This is Live for Love TV.